Imagine waking up one morning to a strange rumble beneath your feet. The shaking grows stronger. The sky outside your window is glowing red, and in the distance you hear a thunderous roar, unlike anything you've ever known. What if all the volcanoes on Earth erupted at once? From the fiery peaks of Hawaii to the frozen slopes of Iceland, from underwater vents in the Pacific to the massive Yellowstone supervolcano in North America. Imagine every single one of them exploding together in one apocalyptic chain reaction. In the very first minutes, rivers of molten lava would gush down mountainsides, swallowing forests, cities, and anything standing in their way. The Earth's crust would split and tear, releasing earthquakes so powerful that skyscrapers would crumble like sandcastles. Coastal volcanoes would trigger enormous tsunamis, waves hundreds of feet high racing across oceans to strike shores within hours. Can you picture entire coastlines disappearing beneath walls of water while fire rains down from the sky? The air itself would become a weapon, filled with choking ash and poisonous gases like sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. Breathing without protection would be nearly impossible in many regions. Daylight would vanish as a thick, dark cloud spread across the planet, turning noon into night in just hours. Air travel would collapse instantly as engines clogged with ash and skies became too dangerous to navigate. Satellites and communication systems would be disrupted by violent lightning storms sparked within volcanic ash plumes. Within a single day, billions of tons of volcanic material would be blasted into the atmosphere, circling the globe and blocking out the sun. Temperatures would begin to plummet as sunlight struggled to reach the surface. This is called a volcanic winter, and it could last for months, maybe even years. Do you think humanity could survive in a world where summer feels like winter and crops can no longer grow? The first immediate effect would be famine. Fields of corn, wheat, and rice would wither without sunlight. Food supplies would collapse within weeks, leading to global panic, riots, and desperate attempts to survive. Animals would starve, ecosystems would collapse, and entire regions would face mass extinction. The oceans would absorb huge amounts of ash and chemicals, turning acidic and threatening marine life on a scale we've never seen. Fish populations could vanish, coral reefs might die out, and the balance of ocean currents would be disrupted, creating storms stronger than any in recorded history. Imagine walking outside and seeing not blue skies but a permanent red haze. The sun, a faint ghostly circle hidden behind layers of dust. The smell of sulfur would sting your nose, and every breath would feel heavy as if the planet itself was suffocating. Water sources would become contaminated with ash, and clean drinking water would be one of the most valuable resources on Earth. Cities would quickly run out of bottled supplies, leaving billions scrambling for survival. In the long term, the cooling of the planet could spark a new ice age. Glaciers would expand, seas might freeze in parts, and temperatures in some areas would drop by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. Billions of people living in warm regions would find themselves trapped in freezing conditions. Could humanity adapt fast enough to survive such a sudden change? Some scientists believe that if all volcanoes erupted at once, civilization as we know it might collapse entirely. Governments would struggle to maintain order, supply chains would break down, and billions could be left without food, shelter, or safety. The Earth itself would continue to tremble for years as the balance of tectonic plates would be thrown into chaos. New mountains would form, entire islands might sink, and coastlines would be reshaped forever. Imagine the planet remade before our very eyes, a world map no longer recognizable within a generation. But amidst all this destruction, nature has a strange way of renewing itself. Volcanic soil is some of the most fertile on Earth. If humanity managed to survive the initial chaos and the long volcanic winter, life might one day return greener, stronger, and more diverse than before. Forests could regrow on land once scorched by fire. New ecosystems might emerge in places where ash settled thick on the ground. Species that adapt to extreme conditions could evolve, creating entirely new forms of life. History tells us that massive eruptions in the past have nearly wiped out species, but also paved the way for evolution and new beginnings. Would humans still exist in this new chapter of Earth's story? Or would another species rise to take our place? Maybe in the far future, intelligent life would look back at the age of humanity as just another layer in Earth's long, fiery history. So the question remains, If all volcanoes erupted at once, would it mark the end of humanity or the beginning of something entirely new? What do you think? Could we survive a world swallowed by fire and darkness? Or would the Earth finally reclaim itself from us?